Good day, my friends and fellow future scavs. Today, I want to cover something because it's been popping up a lot in my comment section about a lot of people, and I've been going through the Steam discussion forums, and I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it and being upset about it. And I think there's a lot of issues as to why all this upset is coming up and why it's agitating a whole bunch of people, and I want to talk about that today. A lot of times, we find games that we look forward to have things that cause us upset and dismay, with a lack of full answers, most of which feel vague and purposefully so, and it leaves a lot of worry when it comes to this water mechanic. I want to highlight one of the best answers as to why a lot of players are upset with this mechanic. Then we'll get into the rest and some thoughts and ideas, and before this though, do not go harassing people for their opinions or their concerns. We're here to have a civil discussion and possibly get more eyes and ears and understanding from the devs on this should they see this video. I doubt it, but if they do, hi. Let's be polite down in the comments, be civil, and remember we're all human and we all like playing video games. Before I get into this comment, one last thing. I am a father of 2, I have 5 pets, I have a wife, I have a job outside of this, I have voice acting gigs that I'm doing, and I have other videos that I'm behind on making, such as a RimWorld series that should have been out earlier this week. That being said, all these responsibilities that I have and these things that I do take up a lot of my time and eat into my day. So even I have a sense of, is this something I really want to fully care about or something that I want to float, have fun with, make content for, and not take too much to heart. To be fair though, this is a game that fits my niche very well, which is co-op games, dad-based games that allow you to get in with your mates, have fun, have a good time, and then log off for the night and say, I'll see you when I see you. And maybe you play some games solo. There's plenty of games that I play solo without my friends along the ride, like Dark Tide, Space Marine 2, Deep Rock Galactic. As you can tell, I play a lot of co-op games now these days. I don't do much in the way of PvP. I'm old, I'm slow, I'm not as quick as I used to be. And when it comes to the Forever Winter's water mechanic, it leaves a sense of worry, but I don't have it in hand because they haven't provided me with a review copy. My email has gone unanswered or has gone in the trash bin. So I can't give you that honest answer right now that I would love to give you. And that's one thing I want you to understand going forward with my channel. I have always, since the beginning of this channel, when it comes to reviewing the games that I play and talking about the games that I play, I am very fair and balanced. I criticize when criticism is due. I praise when praise is due. I am not here to glaze devs. I am not here to say they do nothing wrong, and I am not here to say that their game is perfect. I am here to be honest with you and inform you when things get better or when things get worse. And that is all I have as my goal. Aside from that, I make goofy RimWorld series that are there to give me a little bit of fun and recreation and work on voices that I'm working on for voice acting gigs. So these are all the things that I'm throwing around in the ring. This is why even I have a sense of dread and worry about this. So let's go into the comment that really stuck out and sung to me as one of the best comments, and it's pretty much going to be almost what I said. What got some of us fucked up is the offline penalties don't feel hardcore. They're just annoying. Like, we can be amazing at the game. We can train to esports level precision and have every mechanic memorized like a fundy memorizes a Bible or a Bibli. But if we have real life obligations like work or family or just the desire to take a break and play other games for a bit so we don't burn out on the Forever Winter, we get kicked down the stairs for no reason. That's not hardcore. Hardcore to me is something like Ready or Not, non-lethal S-rank runs, which are so much fun by the way, or a good session of Arma 3. Something that requires your head to be on a swivel and hyper-awareness of in-game mechanics, i.e. skills related to the operation of playing the game itself, not whoops, you had to cover someone's shift and work overtime a lot and come home too tired to play anything for a bit, so you want to just rest and rejuvenate before heading back into work, or you have a family to look after. fuck you, I guess. And that is a lot of the similarities of the comments, is people saying that we have lives. We don't want to feel a sense of anxiety. And that is one of the few things that has caused some issues. And their answers from the dev team: the water mechanic is a systematic representation of the struggle it will take to survive. You need to keep your hub healthy, and neglect needs to loss. We have raised the cap on water and made it very clear what is happening after the tutorial mission. You don't lose your experience, but your innards will reset. You'll lose all your gear. Overall, we want people thinking about the forever winter with anxiety and excitement when not playing. War is hell. I remember being a kid, and I came home in, oh God, I don't even remember what grade I was in at this point. Whenever Red Dead Redemption came out, I was either in high school or just starting high school. I don't remember. I think I bought it on my own. So I might have been old enough to buy an M-rated game. I don't remember. But I remember being excited to get back to coming home and playing Red Dead Redemption with my mates in multiplayer, and having one of the very best times playing that game was going down to Mexico, taking over the fort that was in that bottom right-hand corner of the map. And we'd hold that fort for hours on end against the rest of the server, just having fun, shooting people as they tried to run in, and would come together against my mates and I to take this fort back from us because we had such a high bounty. And it was such an enjoyable experience. It was an engaging experience, and it was never one I was anxious about because I never had anything tied to it. But I had the experience of, I want to get back in and I want to do that again. Maybe we go to a different fort. Maybe we go somewhere else. Maybe we do X. Maybe we do Y. That was exciting to me. And I mentioned in the first Q&A that I played Foxhole, and Foxhole provided some of that anxiety because you would put a lot of time and investment into building up supply lines, pushing certain fronts, taking certain bases, building defenses, holding that ground, and then you'd start to get anxious about how long you've been away, what happened while you were sleeping, or what happened while you were at work or at school. And as I've had the time to think that over the last 2 weeks, I realized that anxiety is what burned me out on the game. It's what stopped me from playing it, because it was an added of life and other games coming out, but man oh man, I was burnt out by the time I realized that one night the enemy made a huge push. We lost probably, I think, 4 days worth of consistent supply line building progress because the other team had everybody come online at one point in the evening and just built up an entire tank force and just steamrolled over everybody. And I remember those days. I remember those feelings, and that was defeating. And so that's where I can see a lot of people being upset with this water mechanic. So as I've said before, I don't have a review or playtest copy of the game in my hands, which again is a major shame, because if I did, I could at least explain the water mechanic and say, this is what it's doing, this is how it works, this is what they've got going for right now, here's where I think they need improvements, and what do you guys think? Where do you think the improvements need to be? I would really love to test this in depth and see if I can alleviate people's fears and go through. So let's talk about some of my concerns. From the first 2 Q&As, as I said, things were a little vague. There wasn't a lot in there in terms of numbers, how much water it is, and so on and so forth. From what appears to be the closed beta tests, getting to max water was pretty quick, and I believe it allotted for 30 days. If I read everything correctly, I may not have. Dyslexia is a bitch sometimes. Let's talk about the biggest worries. Is this a real-life time for days of water, as in a day in real life is a day in the game? If that's the case, is it really that bad that if you get 30 days of water and you don't play for 15 days, or you don't play for 20 days, or you don't play for 29 days, you're still alive, you just have less water than you had? Or is it like a DayZ where a full day in game is 30 minutes, or one of those games? I don't know if DayZ does that anymore. I don't even know. I know there were some games where it was like you had 30 minutes was a full day cycle. You had 15 minutes of daytime, you had 15 minutes of night. And if that's the case, then you're burning through water like a horse pisses on a racetrack, and nobody wants to deal with that. That's a shit mechanic, right? We can all agree that if a day in the game is 30 minutes, if that's what a day of water in the game is, that's a crap mechanic. I wouldn't even play the game. I would be fucking done. Okay? So there's that. What is the new water cap? They said they raised it. So what's the new one? How long does it take to get that filled? They mentioned changing in the details, but they never gave us the numbers. So there's no finite details. How long can this water be held on to? Are there sub-tanks where maybe we have days where we ration water slower? Are there going to be modules where we can ration water slower so it doesn't burn out as quick? Maybe we're able to put a module into our innards that we can have active while offline that will stretch a day's worth of water to 2 days. Maybe that's an option. And the last thing is, why does it have to be in a game that's not PvP? The dev answer gives players a reason to feel a sense of anxiety about getting back to the game and wanting to play it, but this also does burn people out. If the game's not PvP, why does it need to be in? And their answer is they want you to have a sense of consequences, and if you are neglectful, you're going to lose stuff. Now, again, it's all well and good to say that if you're neglectful to something, things fall apart. And, you know, it happens with cars, it happens with your house, it happens with computers, it happens with wood furniture, it happens with everything. Everything with neglect falls apart, breaks, dies, goes away. We get that. That's understandable. Why does it have to be when we're offline, though? Right? That's what people are getting upset about. And so these answers definitely sucked super hard, and defending it makes you feel like you've had your legs cut off and fed to you. And that's a huge problem. We don't want to be feeling a sense of anxiety about playing a video game, but we definitely want to feel that when we're playing. We don't want to have a sense of anxiety when we're not playing the game. I'm okay with having a sense of anxiety when playing the game because I've got a whole bunch of gear I'm going through, and all of a sudden I fucked up. All hell's breaking loose around me. A bunch of zombie Borgs are coming up to eat my toes. And if they're coming up to eat my toes, life has gone south and I'm in trouble, and that's the end of it. I get that. That's part of the extraction shooter. That is part of roguelike mechanics. It's part of what makes me love a game like Quasimorph, which I had a death in Quasimorph the other day where I was finally finished. I was extracting, and there was an AR, which is a robot, that appeared and just drilled me twice with an assault rifle, and I went down. I didn't even have a chance to fight back. It was just his 2 shots hit me with criticals, down I went. I wasn't going slow. I was like, all right, cool, I've got what I did, I'm out, I'm extracting, we're good. And because I wasn't paying attention, because I let that sense of relief fall over me in the game, in the mission, I fucking died. And it was awesome, and it was frustrating, and I put the game down for about 10 minutes, and then I came back to it and I started up again because I love it. It's a good sense of feeling. I don't mind the anxiety when I'm playing the game. I don't want anxiety when I'm not playing the fucking game. So I can agree with you on that. This is why having vague answers that we don't have numbers for, we don't have a real explanation for, and I don't have the ability to come back to you and say, these are the numbers, this is what we're looking at, this is how it operates. It's frustrating for me because I see all these comments that I can't provide answers to. So, what don't you lose when it comes to this system? You don't lose skill progression, XP, and a fair portion of your dosh. So if you do suffer water death, you don't have to sweat too much about getting your gear back. The devs have mentioned about thinking about a strong box where you can stash gear in to keep it in case of water death. This should be 100% a top priority for the devs. It would alleviate a lot of concerns. It wouldn't completely get rid of them, but it would alleviate quite a bit. If they want to keep this system in play, it is player friendly. It will allow for players to feel better within the game, and it will give them a less dreading sense of not playing. And I'm not against the devs running their vision. I want to see the devs' vision of the game, but there also needs to be some more player-friendly ways to not punish offline play. So let's talk about a handful of solutions, and whether they take these into consideration or not is entirely up to them, but they are important to have as an active discussion. Again, before we get into this, these are speculative solutions. Don't have a playtest copy. I am all happy again to have a civil and open discussion and to share ideas down in the comments. Number one is remove the offline timer and increase water loss for failed raids. This will create a more tense raid experience and an already very tense game where perhaps maybe you have mission pop-ups with secondary randomly generated objectives that pop up at the end that we can choose to go after or not of water caches. The danger will increase if you go for them, but you'll be able to fill your water back up faster. Risk versus reward here. Getting that extra water can give you more wiggle room if you fail raids, but it will also heighten your chances at having a water death because you invested more time going further into your raid and trying to get those extra water resources. I think this is a very fair mechanic to have thrown in when you decide to remove the offline timer. I would actually love this because I would love to go in with the community playing this game with some fellow scavs and saying, look, this just came up. Let's try and go get it and make sure we all have extra water. If the four of us take it slow and together and we move collectively, we can accomplish this and still extract at the same time. I think that'd be a great idea. Keep the offline timer, but allow for a module to harvest water. This module could harvest water at half a day every day, giving you every 2 days, you get a day's worth of water. It's not going to completely save you from water death if they keep this mechanic in, but it will slow water death down. Add an emergency tank module that has an extra week worth of water that we can fill while we play. So if we do fail too many missions or cannot play for a long time, we get an extra few days. This could be anywhere from 5 days to 2 weeks. But allow us to have a secondary tank that we fill just so when our main tanks run out, we have that secondary surge of water that might give us the extra time to remember to come and play the game, right? Remove this system entirely and have the innards be raided by NPC factions. We need to fight them off or go to ground and hide from. We still suffer a death of our innards, but we at least had an option to fight back against this raid and prevent the loss of everything while being active online. And this could be a timer, is that if we're offline for so long, it seems like our innards are no longer being supported and the enemy factions come and raid us the next time we log on. We still have all the gear we've accumulated. Maybe now you're throwing in some defense modules to allow us to better defend our base. And this way it gives us a potential to treat our innards like they're the human body, which is kind of the way it seems like you're going with this, in that we are the antibodies fighting off a hostile virus and trying to keep our innards alive, trying to keep our body alive. This would be super fun because at least you know the moment you're coming back after being gone for so long, there is going to be a high intensity engagement that shows up within a few moments, maybe a couple minutes, and there's warning lights, raid lights, something's coming your way, you have to fight it off. You could still cause some losses, you're still going to lose some things, but it's not going to be everything, right? That would be a fun mechanic. These are my thoughts for right now on this until I get my hands on it. What I would like to say is that if you are concerned about this water death mechanic, let me be the one to spend my money. Don't spend your money on it. Wait for me to do these testings. If you're that concerned about it, let me be your test dummy. I'm happy to do that for people. I'm excited to do that for people. I will play for a good couple days. I will accumulate water. I will let you know how long it takes for that water to deplete by not playing for a few days, and we can go from there, expanding upon ideas, ways to make this better, and see if the devs come and look at it again. We can also say that you don't have to spend your money either, because next month there will be a demo. And I saw there was a comment that was the 2-hour Steam play and refund window is a demo. It's not really a demo. A demo is something you can play consistently without having to worry about getting your money back. Because not only are you spending your money to buy the thing, that money is leaving your bank account. Then you have to wait for that money to be refunded to you back into your bank account. That's $27, $30, $50 that you could have spent on something else entirely. You could have said, this money, that's my money, I'm not spending it on that, I'm going to put it over here. So just play the demo. Let me be the test dummy. I'll happily do that for you. I don't mind. I'm excited to do that. But other than that, take your time, some financial wisdom from Muggsy, and spend your money wisely. Let content creators who are going to be honest with you, who are going to give you no bullshit, will be honest, aren't going to glaze devs, aren't going to tell them they're perfect, aren't going to tell them their game is perfect. This is an early access game. There's room for improvement, but there's room for improvement to be constructive and given in a manner that is polite, cordial, critical, and constructive. Okay? So for that, thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel. You can also be a Patreon supporter. There's a link down in the description below. You can also support by becoming a channel member here on YouTube, or you can support for free by doing things that makes the algorithm get tickled on the inside and have its innards be tickled. By all the things every other YouTuber tells you to do. Like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. With that, my friends, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.